This is the Amazon 1 month overview reading for the month of April 2025. It's currently March 16th, 2025, 4:52 p.m. Eastern Time. Amazon at the time of this reading, $197.95 USD. And the shuffle video for the April reading was created on March 8th, 2025 at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. So what I'll cover in this video is the overall trend direction and chart behavior for Amazon in the month of April. We're going to give you chart behavior to look out for that should form near the month's highest high and the month's lowest low and the best trades. And then we're going to go and review February, see how we did for February, the prediction for February to give you an idea of our accuracy. Before we come back and do the day-by-day sequence of chart events and give you one of the best trades that we see for the month of April at the end of the video. That's important to understand. We're predicting the sequence of chart events. So you want to pay closest attention to the sequence of chart events as outlined by the prediction. The timing usually on point to the day with the 1 month reading, but there will be cases you'll see where the reading needs plus or minus a day, 1 or 2 days of wiggle room, but the sequence of chart events remains accurate nonetheless. So that's why I always tell people follow the sequence of chart events. Timing is secondary. This is also one of the main reasons why you really should not try trading this information yourself. You're not experienced enough to recognize plus or minus wiggle room from just a reading that's gone wrong. They happen very, very rarely, but they happen. So I do not recommend trading this information. This is for entertainment purposes. Think of it as a guide to our expectations of what we expect to see in April. But if you're actually serious about trading this information, you must have access to our monthly access subscription, which gives you the live Discord trade alerts, live updated trading view charts, and a bunch of other stuff I'll show you guys at the end of the video. Now, before I get into the chart behavior, I just want to make sure you're aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that with your help when you follow through on the rule of karma. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profits from all profitable trades should be donated forward to one of these charities. 5% of all profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. It leaves you at 90%. It effectively maintains the flow of abundance through paying it forward and the flow of gratitude through paying it backwards. Spend that 90% out of love. That'll keep your conscience clear. And as long as you follow those rules, you're an angel investor of the channel. Universe is going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. All right, so let's get into it. The overall theme and behavior for April, we have a prominent move higher, and everything that I talk about moves higher, support, resistance, troughs, all this stuff is going to be on the scale of a multi-year reading with 1 day candlesticks unless otherwise specified. So we've got this prominent move higher, full retracement. It's crossed with a notable trough on probably a 1 year chart scale that offers a significant buy opportunity, which I'll most likely be talking about in the monthly access version of this video. Behavior around the highest high, we successfully find support near the high, so likely we turn resistance into new support and rotate sideways a bit near the highs. Behavior around the lowest low, there's a notable reversal on a multi-day scale, or I should say a notable reversal standing out on a 1 year chart scale, or it could be multiple reversals that stand out on a multi-day scale. We'll look at that in more detail as we progress. Now, I'm going to get into that day-by-day sequence for chart events and give you one of the best trades at the end of the video. Before we do that, let's just take a look at February and see how we did thus far. This also gives you an idea of the trading view charts that we do chart drawings with entries and exits. And we even put in there like lowest low thus far, buy long, things like that. We're not right all the time. I gray out the ellipses when we're wrong. Well, we're right most of the time. With that said, February, looks like we were off on those highs. Was that the 14th? Yeah, definitely a bit off on those highs. Actually, I have it for the 13th. We did have a prominent trough on the 6th. 6th, 7th, there was that drop there. And then we get into lows for the month around the 21st. We were at lowest lows thus far, and then we went lower. Not my best reading, guys. Definitely not my best reading. Let's see how March is going so far. So we had a lowest low around the 7th. Looks like we were pretty close. It's kind of where it started flattening out. Remember, near the low, we've got this bumping along resistance sideways. This looks like a more solid reasoning. The 12th ended up being a prominent peak, not a high, and then we likely have these highs at the end of the month. So this is still on track to do all right. We likely see these lows again before the highs, but it might be that we saw them already. Remember, plus or minus a day or two of wiggle room. But as far as the sequence of chart events, this seems to be very accurate, guys. As far as trades are concerned, so on the 5th, you could have opened up a short position and closed the short position on the 6th or the 7th. And the 5th is right here, 6th or the 7th. That would have been a profitable trade. Also on the 6th, looks like we're going to come back to that. We have this Princess of Swords here. We haven't returned back to that resistance level yet. And usually what you do is when you're below that resistance of the Princess of Swords, you open up a long position. And almost all the time, not all the time, but almost all the time, what you'll do is you'll revisit that resistance level in the not too distant future. Looks like we probably come back to it here at the end of the month. So these are solid trades, guys. This was, if you're wondering, the March shuffle file, oh, that's the VIX. The March shuffle file for Amazon was created January 23rd, 2025. The January reading, which wasn't so hot, that's one of my worst, I think probably one of the worst readings I've looked at in a while, happened, and there was still a lot of accuracy to it. It's just parts of it were a little off. But that reading was done in February of 2024. January 2025's monthly was done in February of 2024. I wanted to make a point. All right, so let's get back into it, guys. The sequence of chart events. So we've got a trough right on the cusp of March and April, with a prominent peak there and sideways rotation. Sideways rotation on the 1st. On the 2nd, a rally into key resistance. We meet that resistance and we break down from that with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down, taking us into a prominent trough. Big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance on the 3rd, followed by looks like another drop there to another trough in the morning of the 4th, or on the cusp of the 3rd, 4th. But there's some price swinging, sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow. Looks like overall we end up to the upside on the 4th. On the 7th, we have 3 crisscrosses back and forth through the same price level. The 3rd cross is usually to the upside, confirming a bullish trend. Doesn't necessarily look like it confirmed a bullish trend here, but we do have a peak at the beginning of the day on the 8th. And then likely a lot of price change. Likely a lot of price change and an important support level. Price change to the downside, most likely an important support level on a 1-year chart scale highlighted. Big move to the upside on the 9th that turns over, creating opportunity I'll likely talk about in the monthly access version. And then we've got a prominent peak, possibly a prominent trough on the 9th, prominent peak on the 10th with a sideways fluctuating rally preceding a notable decline. 3 crisscrosses on the 3 pokes through the same trend line on the 11th. Off of the 3rd poke, we should see a significant move to the downside. On the 14th, a big move higher, pushing the upper end of range higher, and a prominent trough on a multi-day scale there on the 15th. Also a prominent peak. So a prominent peak and a prominent trough on the 15th. Another prominent peak on the 16th that we sell off from pretty notably. A move higher through key resistance on the 17th, followed by a full retracement. Not necessarily a full retracement, but what we'll do is after these lows that we've formed on the 14th, the 15th, 16th, we likely have a new, like we probably have some sort of change in direction that's like noticed here with and confirmed with like a new, like local high or something on the 17th, possibly a trough at the end of the day though. On the 21st, a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands in that period of volatility. We do, however, have a big move to the upside towards the end of the day, taking us into a prominent peak. Somebody's likely speaking there, most likely a woman in, either it's a woman in the media, or it's going to be like an air sign leader. And most likely this has something to do with some sort of legality or legislation. Interesting. In any case, there's a peak at the end of the day on the 21st. Resistance level highlighted on the 22nd that we declined from and should return to in the not too distant future. A lot of price change involved in the midday where we most likely see that resistance. There's also a day trade in there I'll most likely talk about in the monthly access version. On the 23rd, erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. We revisit a crest within that erratic behavior. There's also a sharp drop, unicursal hexagram drop, probably towards the end of the day, taking us into a trough on the cusp. On the cusp of the 23rd, 24th, or maybe the morning of the 24th, a rally out of that into another crest towards the end of the day on the 24th. That rally ends and turns over, creating a crest. A lot of price change on the 25th. A lot of price change on the 25th, a prominent peak again, and a lot of price change into and or out of an important support level on at least a 1 month scale, where we do some sideways rotation at that support usually. Bearish price swings on the 28th, either that or a sharp drop. Either way, we're likely declining out of the 28th into the 29th, and the decline on the 29th ends with a fast sudden move higher around the cusp of the 29th, 30th, maybe the end of the day on the 30th. And we have this resistance level highlighted on the 30th. It's a resistance level that we failed to break through many times before, and or we will fail to break through it many times in the future. The sneak preview for May, we have a big fast sudden move higher out of an important trough on a multi-day scale. All right, guys, so one of the best trades that I see So if we're at a lowest low thus far on the around the cusp of the 3rd, 4th, I would likely open up a long position there. No, never mind that one. I don't like that one. It's not clear enough. So what I'll do is I'll go with this resistance here on the 22nd. When we establish what that resistance is, which is something that's easily done when you're on the Discord, I most likely am establishing that, and if I'm not focused on it, somebody will ask me a question to bring me to it. Either way, we'll be able to identify what that resistance is there, and we should decline from that resistance. Theoretically, any price level below that resistance is going to offer opportunity to open up a long position, which we might be able to close out of on the same day based on that day trade, but more likely what it's going to be is that we'll close out of it the following day in the midst of that erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. When we identify that resistance, you might even open up a short as well, and you would likely be able to close the short at the end of the day on the 23rd, but that one's risky. I'd probably just go for the decline off the resistance, open up the long, close the long when we revisit that resistance on the 22nd or the 23rd, maybe even the 25th. I like to have backup exits, but rule of thumb when trading estimate analysis, always go for the first exit. Don't rely on backup exits. They're backup exits for a reason. It's always a better strategy to take profits too early and take profits. You can always take that money and reposition it into another promising trade. And that's Amazon for April 2025. Guys, again, don't trade this information without the monthly access subscription. Let me show you how to get there. We're also going to, in the monthly access version, look how the 1 month fits into the 2025 1-year reading. What you get here is an example. So for Amazon, you get, with the monthly access subscription, you get all of these Discord ticker symbols and crypto. There's a chat channel and an alert channel, a live trade alert channel for each of those. And in the alert channel, they've also got links that change regularly with the most up-to-date chart drawings for each ticker. So this is how you would have access to this Amazon chart drawings. And when I go and update this, because the bigger the ellipse, the greater the time frame of the reading that is based on, more likely when we get to it in real time, it'll get narrowed down. So when I make changes to this stuff, I put the link out there in real time and let everybody know. So these are game-changing services. I've been developing this system for 26 years, guys. My first trade for myself, private trade. My first private trade was on E-Trade when E-Trade was the only online broker back in 2000. So I've been doing this a long time, my friends. I do not recommend trying to trade this information without it. You're very ignorant thinking if you think that just because you know high and low that you'll be able to make money, because it's not about the high and low. It's about what you do when your money's in the market, period. So with that said, guys, thanks to everybody that goes ahead and supports the channel by supporting with the monthly access subscription. You go to our website, TR for Traders, hover over order now, click on subscriptions. The monthly access subscription It gets you all of the stuff that early access has, which is the earliest access to any of our public posts that come out on YouTube. It's this channel right here that you would have access to. Everything comes out here before it comes out on YouTube. It gives you access to the live stream questions channel where people ask questions throughout the week, and on the next available live stream, I answer them. And it gets you access to the Discord, trade alerts, and chart links for all of these, for not only for SPY, but all of these crypto and ticker symbols here. The monthly access version of these videos also includes the timing of the highest high and the lowest low to the day. Usually we're on point, not always though, but most of the time. And it also gets you all of the expected trades that we see throughout the month, and day trade alerts for SPY as well. All of that is severely underpriced right now. This is $300 a month currently. It's likely going up in price very, very soon. So if you're lucky enough to snatch it up at this price level, you'll have that price level for the lifetime of the subscription. Much love and appreciation to everybody who goes ahead and does that. Blessings to all my angel investors. You know where to go. You know what to do. I'll see you guys on the next one.